When it comes to Cosmic Encounter, there is always one line I fall back on to describe the game. And if this doesn't sell it to you, then nothing will. Take it away, Z.
It's negotiation with like tentacles and freaky alien powers. It's great!
Hi everyone, welcome to another Broken Meeple review, and this time we're taking a look at a game which most of you already know I really like, and that is Cosmic Encounter. Now, Cosmic Encounter is a game that has featured highly on my top 100 every year that I've been doing it, so it's no secret that I like this game. However, what has recently occurred is that Fantasy Flight have reprinted, and this is just the lid because I need the box down here to get stuff out, a 42nd anniversary edition of it. Now, this is kind of like the same box and look as the previous one, just a different art cover on the front. But, you know, as much as I needed a new box, it's actually quite handy this has come out, really. But what they're doing is they've basically reprinted it for a new audience. So they still give you the original batch of 50 aliens. They give you some rules. They give you the components you need to play the game, and this will effectively be a replacement base set. I'm not entirely certain why they went with the whole 42nd anniversary. Maybe because of the whole Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy 42 is the answer, you know, to life, the universe, and everything. But you know, it certainly fits with the theme, I guess. So what this video will be is it's only going to give a short overview about what the game is about for all you Cosmic Encounter newbies, but suffice to say you already know I love this game. So this will just be a short overview for that. The rest of this video will comment quickly on what changes from this compared to the other base set. You know, if you already own the other set, should you grab this one? Does it work with expansions? And if you've managed to find, say, an older version secondhand online, should you consider that rather than this one? So, an overview of Cosmic Encounter. It is a straight-up negotiation, well, as Z put it, a negotiation game with tentacles and freaky alien powers. That's pretty much the deal. You are drawing from a deck of cards that dictates which opponent you will attack each round. The object of the game is to get 5 foreign colonies, which means having your UFO pieces on opposing planets, so other than your own. You can share victories in this game, so it may not just be you that gets 5, it could be 2, 3, every player could get 5 colonies at the same time, in which case, great, there you go, shared victory. But what you're doing is, when you attack a planet, you will send some of your ships against them, and you will then ally with other races. You'll ask them to help you, and the attacker and the defender can both do this. So the attacker will ask people, you know what, I'd like purple and red to come and help me. The defending player might be like, well, I don't really care, I don't want purple to help, you know, you're no good, so green, yellow, you come and help me. And then players will decide amongst themselves, you know, with negotiation and backchat, as to who they're going to ally with, commit their ships to the attack, and then each player, the attacker and the defender, simultaneously play a card face down from their hand, which you will have. And these consist of various special effect cards, but primarily they will consist of 2 types, attack and negotiate cards. An attack card is a straight up number, and it could range from anything from like 0 all the way up to 40. And the idea is that this card will flip over, you'll add the total number of ships on your side to the total, and if it beats the other person's total, you win. That's pretty much the deal. I think it's defender wins. I think it's defender wins ties. I can't remember, but like I say, the main thing is compare the totals, add everything up. Who's got the highest? They win. Straightforward. Negotiate is a way that you can say, you know what, look, we don't need to fight over this. You don't need to come conquer my planet. If we can negotiate a deal, like I get a planet, you get a planet, then we can work together on this. Both players have to play a negotiate for this to work, though. If only one person plays a negotiate and the other one still attacks, I'm sorry, the sissy gets kicked out. So they get a little bit of compensation for it, but yeah, this is a negotiation game. So you gotta be aware that there's a lot of bluffing, there's a lot of truth-telling, there's a lot of straight-up lying through your back teeth this game. So you can't go into this being a nervous Nelly, and you can't go into this being somebody who gets easily angered by having people backstab you at various times, because it will just happen. That's the nature of negotiation. And play just keeps continuing round, where each turn you'll draw a card off a deck that says you've got to attack red, you've got to attack purple, which is cool because it means that you can't just deliberately pick on somebody because you don't like them. And that's just generally the gist. You keep going round, and people make alliances, and alliances break and fall or come together. Negotiations will fall apart or they'll work together. And then as each colour, starts moving up the tracks to say how many foreign colonies they've got, it's that magic number of 5, and it's a case of, will there be a shared victory, or will one person try to go at it themselves? If you like negotiation games like I do, this is a blast to play. Now, with the wrong group, it can fall apart. Like I say, nervous Nellies, easily angered people, or just people who just don't really care for negotiation games. This game isn't for you, and you should back out. But if the whole sort of player interaction thing is definitely for you, and you want that theme of weird, funky alien powers, because each of you will have, an alien. Yeah, and there's so many of them now, it's ridiculous. Each one with its own special power that basically breaks the rules of the game in a certain way. And that's probably the biggest crux of the game. The fact that you have all these aliens here that basically just allow you to... this is a small selection of the ones I've got. And they just have so many weird rules. The combinations and replay value of this game is near on infinite at this point. And these powers will change up every game. You might have a power that allows you to swap hands with your opponent. Another one might allow you to constantly, give people penalties for not letting you ally with them. Some allow you to actually see the card your opponent is doing. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful powers in 3 tiers of difficulty: easy, medium, and hard. So you can pick as you need. New players, pick the green. If you're experienced, pick a red. Simple. So the game itself is one I adore. It's always been, I think, in my 30s upwards in the top 100. Was it in my 40s this time around? I don't know. It's always been in the top 50 though. That I can say for certain. I love this game. Why do you think I was interested to take a look at the 42nd anniversary edition? But like I say, my box was getting so worn out from overplaying that I need a new box. So it's nice to have a shiny box. Now, that aside, if you just want to know what I think of Cosmic Encounter in general, well, then, it's a great game. I love it. It's one of my favourite games. So naturally, if you're into that sort of theme, into negotiation, you should give this one a look. Definitely. Now, with that being said, what's actually in this box that's new from the previous set? Well, not a huge amount is different. Let's be perfectly honest. The original 50 aliens, bar 1 extra alien, are in this box. So the ones from the previous core set are in here, but there's a new one called the Demon. I think he was like a promo or some special FSG event one, I'm not sure. But basically you've got the original 50 plus the Demon. That's it. So only 1 extra alien. So you're not going to get any new set of aliens from this. There's been a couple of component upgrades here and there. I'm going to sort of get out my broken token insert that I've recently acquired on that and just showcase a few things, but you probably won't be able to see them that well on the camera. But for starters, these ships that you can see, you probably can't see them that well, but essentially these ships that used to be just solid basic plastic, they're still solid plastic, but they are now translucent plastic. So, they just got a nicer look, they're quite shiny, they look really cool, and they have replaced all the basic colours. However, there aren't currently any of these translucent colours for expansions. So the original game only plays between 3 and 5 players. You only have 5 of these in translucent colours. So if you've got like the other 3 players worth of ships like I have, they will be straight up solid coloured ships. They will be opaque. So you won't be able to use well, you can, but you'll notice that some are translucent and some aren't, which is a bit of an annoyance, really. But I guess maybe in the future they'll release them in the other colours. This is a Fantasy Flight. You know it's going to happen. They'll do it as a separate little set, but like they do with Dice, which is annoying, but oh well, that's just kind of the way it is. So you get a little bit of a ship upgrade. You still get the planet tiles as per usual, so you still have, these things, they're still the same, they don't look any different, which is a shame really, because I would have liked to have had revised artwork on some of these. And that's not to say the artwork's bad in this game. The artwork is fantastic, the component quality is really good, but yeah, they're kind of sort of missing the mark on a few points there, really. You still get the same, as I said, the same 50 aliens, you still get the same set of cards, so the same attack cards, the same negotiate cards, and that. However, you get this neat little new addition, which are these. I forget what they call them, but they're basically a huge set of cards. There's a lot here, but you can see there's a huge amount here. But what they do is that they're starting setups, alien combinations. So, they basically tell you in a 3, 4, or 5 player game, if you want a certain type of theme to go with the game, pick these aliens. Brilliant. This is fantastic. I mean, you can just do random if you like, but I love the idea that you could basically just say, you know what, let's just hurry up and get this set up. We'll choose this card. Oh, the humanity. Right, there's 4 of us playing, so we need the human, pacifist, trader, and kamikaze. Perfect. Oh, there's another 5th player joining us. Right, we also need the healer. These are really cool. They tell you what difficulty they are. They tell you the basic ability. So if I read, let's choose another one, random. This one. Heads or tails. So, trader. Trades hands with opponent. Vacuum. Takes other players' ships to warp. It gives you an overview of each alien. And these are really cool. I actually at the point where rather than letting people pick randomly, I will just shuffle up this deck of cards, draw one, and they're the aliens we're using. And then people can decide between themselves which alien they'd like to pick out of those. But believe me, when you've got new players playing this game, it shortens the time for setup considerably. Because rather than saying, oh, would you care to look through all these flares and decide which one you want? Or would you like to look through all these aliens and decide which one you want? Then now you just simply go, pick a card. And I know sometimes people just deal out, 10 flares and say, right, choose one out of these or pick one out of 2. Personally, I'd rather just use these. These are a neat little addition, and I'm glad that they've now started to feature in the game. Of course, you don't want to buy this box just for these, put it that way. What else have we got? As I say, the cards are different. The other great different addition. One thing that I had, which was a big problem with the original set, the rulebook wasn't very good. FFG's rulebooks are kind of hit and miss as to whether they're any good or not. They're usually too much text. But the Cosmic Encounter one in particular was a bit like, how do I reference this? Where do I see? Where's the pictorial examples? It's kind of mad. Now they've revised it. They have now revised the rulebook, so much so that I've chucked the other one away, because there is just no need for it anymore. But they've also provided an extra guide. So first off, you've got the original rulebook again. Okay, fair enough. But it's got a quick reference thing on the back. It has much better explained, abilities. It has proper pictorial examples of encounters, which you need to know. It has card pictures of all the different types of cards, like reinforcements and artifacts, etc. It's got easy to reference things like, what's the difference between mandatory and optional powers, and what's each phase, and goes through each phase in detail with pictures. Pictures! Seriously, put them in your rulebooks, people. But it's so much better, this rulebook. And this is for those of us who have played the game. Even better than that, and I really like this, is a quick start guide. You didn't get this in the original version. And basically, it's kind of playing on that gimmick that you've seen in the few rulebooks, where the characters that you can play in the book are basically talking to you. It's like done as a comic strip. But it's really cool. It starts off with like, welcome, I am Oracle, and we aliens are ready to play a game of Cosmic Encounter. You can learn the rules by watching us play a turn, and then you can try playing a game on your own. And then it has a comic strip pictorial representation of how to play your first game, with a few gags thrown in as well. I mean, they got to kind of do that, really. But it's done, in a nice style, and as I read through it, it's like, yeah, this is a perfect quick start guide. Literally tells you how a basic turn works, how you ally with people, how you do the planning for the cards, how you reveal, the resolution, and, at the end it will explain a little bit about how your alien reference sheet works, your alien power, and then that's it. It basically goes through like, 1 or 2 turns. It mentions the combo cards. Oh yeah, that's what they were called, the combo cards, where you can just do a predetermined set of aliens, and then you can get on with it and play it yourself. This is an excellent thing for new players. So if you're brand new to Cosmic Encounter, I highly recommend you read through this first to understand the rules, and then supplement it with this guide. But believe me, this is a major upgrade from the previous rule set, which was a nightmare. I mean, I had to print out like laminate a reference sheet. I also had to do a turn sequence thing like this, for each player. And granted, I'll probably still keep this for other players, but all of a sudden, the back of the rulebook is kind of decent enough for just having a reference sheet to hand. It explains the phases, explains how deals work, timing conflicts, the second encounter rule, compensation for bad negotiate, and defender rewards. That's the main stuff you kind of have to reference on a regular basis because everything else is on the alien cards. So kudos, well done for that. Now, expansion compatibility. This works with the expansions. If you have bought things like Cosmic Alliance and Dominion and Incursion and whatever the other ones were, I forget, Eons and there was one other. That's escaping my mind at the moment. But if you've got those, this works fine with it. With the little caveat that those translucent ships won't work with the, they don't have those in the colors of the expansions. You're just going to have to accept that. But, you can use those aliens with the aliens from here because it's just the base set all over again. The cards will work fine. The rewards deck you can combo with this. Certainly what I would say about this set, because that's pretty much all the new stuff. Translucent ships, same cards, same aliens, plus one alien. The quick start combo cards, which are really cool. Major upgrade to the rule set. But you still get the sort of, what's it called, the doohickey thing. Yeah, you still get this. You still get that for the things. Where is it? There it is. You still get the hyperspace gate. That hasn't changed. You still get the destiny deck. So, for all said and done, this set is very similar. It is about 80% identical to the original base set. And that is why this is going to really depend on what your circumstances are. If you've got everything to do with Cosmic Encounter, I don't recommend buying this set for the money unless you've got a lot of money spare or maybe you're trying to do what I did and fix the box, because there's not enough new content in here to justify the extra expense for buying the entire set again, because you're just going to waste components that you've already had before. Granted, if they're getting run down, you haven't sleeved them, maybe things are getting ripped apart or something, then great, at least you can rejiggle your collection. But yeah, this is not cost effective if you're already a Cosmic Encounter veteran. What this is perfect for, though, is if you're a newcomer. And I would certainly say that the game is not that expensive. I mean, it does head around the 40 quid mark, so yeah, being FFG, there's a bit of a cost factor in there. But unless you can find a second-hand copy of the original Cosmic Encounter set, which is still, like I say, 80% identical to this, if you can find one of those for, say, half the price, at least 50% off, then maybe you can just grab that one and you'll be fine, because you don't need translucent ships. You can live without the quick start combo cards, even though they're great, and even though you will have a bit of a subpar rule set, you will eventually get the hang of it. So it's not the most complex game in the world. So if you can find the old set cheap, then by all means, grab that, you should be just fine. But if you don't want to hang around with the second-hand market, or if nobody's selling that set, I mean, I don't tend to see Cosmic Encounter on a lot of bring and buy sales or thing in general, because I think everybody who likes negotiation games has bought it and loves it, whereas people who don't like negotiation games haven't bought it in the first place. That's kind of how it works. But if you're a complete newcomer, you just want to buy a new set of Cosmic Encounter, this is the perfect entry point into it. Give you more than enough aliens to cater for you. You've got a component upgrade, you've got better rules, you've got the quick start combo cards, you've got everything you need to enjoy Cosmic Encounter for up to 5 players. And believe me, where it says 3 to 5, that's probably the one annoyance here. The minimum players you need to play this game really is 4. Never play this with 3. And ideally you want to play this with a full count of 5, because 5 is a nice solid number, I think, for Cosmic Encounter. You want all those people to negotiate. And then if you want to pick up an expansion or 2, then, well, by all means do. I recommend Dominion and I think Incursion. Basically the 2 that provide reward deck cards, okay? Very specifically the reward deck. If you're going to get expansions, grab those 2 first. That's definitely the way I see it. But it's not like you won't have enough replay value in this core set to keep you going for a very, very long time. And it's not often you can find a game that caters for that annoying 5-player mark. That ought to be a top 10 list I should do at some point, actually. Top 10 games for 5 players, because 5 players is such a pain to organise games for. You know what, I think I will do that at some point. Hey, ideas. So, that's all I can really say about the Cosmic Encounter set. I still think there's an Amazing game, I love it. It's been getting to the table a bit more lately because of showing off this set, but oh, I really love this game. In terms of my feelings of, the upgrades in general, there's not enough new content here for veterans of the game, but I still think it's a solid new entry point. Okay, so that's it for me on Cosmic Encounter, the 42nd anniversary edition. And remember, no matter how many times you're backstabbing each other or failing to negotiate with each other, remember, we're all friends here, and this is only a game. So no hard feelings, okay? Take care, and I'll see you at the end of the Hypergame.